Hey, my true tellers, how are you guys doing? Welcome to Unapologetic Real Talk. I just hope I don't freeze because I see that I am having problems. I see my girls in the house, Country Girl Queen. She says, good evening, Unapologetic Real Talk and True Tellers. How are you guys doing? Guys, look, I am doing great today, man. This right here, I'm not going to go ahead and tell you no lie. I've been looking for this since the day that I had started watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, and that was the first season it came on. After, I think it was like season 13, that was it with me. So I hope you guys can hear me real good, guys, because for some reason I am freezing. Let me see if I can go ahead and do a mic check to make sure that everything is okay. So, guys, again, welcome to Unapologetic Real Talk. As you can see right here, I'm not going to even talk about give you a recap of everything that is going on. I'm going to go ahead and get straight to the point. I'm watching it right now, but maybe later. But I'm not really into Real Housewives of Atlanta. I like to do a variety of things. I just don't like to stay in the box. I like to talk about a lot of stuff. I wanted to go ahead and talk about. I saw that this brother from Texas, Camilla Anthony. I want to go ahead and talk about him, but not on this live right here. Also, I want to talk about Texas law to stand your ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and break that down as well. Like I said, I just like to talk about different stuff, man. I get bored very, very fast, so I can, how you say that? I could chew gum and walk at the same time. Hey, Jacqueline Moore is in the house. She says, "Good evening, happy Monday to Truth Tellers." Thank you, guys. Thank you. Welcome, guys. It means a lot for you guys to come on. And I'm going to tell you guys, look, I hope you all, like I said, I'm not a Kenya Moore fan. I'm really not a fan to any of these housewives, these reality shows, how I feel about it. But um when it comes to Kenya Moore, man, I already knew that, she was going to be her own demise. I called it out from day one. And now all of a sudden they want to go ahead and use the weapon gate. You can't use the weapon gate, guys, because believe me, I'm going to break it down. And even when it comes to Michelle Brown, guys, straight from the A, she the one had broke the story when it came to Phaedra Parks, when Kenya Moore had threw out some stuff about Phaedra Park. Like I said, guys, whatever is in the atmosphere, whatever you put out there in the atmosphere, it's going to come back to you, because when it comes to words, words are seeds. Words are powerful. Words are not going nowhere. And I truly believe this right here. This is what I call harvest time, because we already know when it comes to Kenya Moore, she's been looking forward, to go ahead and get her hair salon off the ground. And who would have thought, she's been talking about it for years, and just one night destroyed it all. Destroyed it all one night. She's been trying, putting her entire investment into this business, but one night, the same night. I mean, it could have been beautiful. I mean, the set, the presentation, everything was so beautiful. The colors, everything was so beautiful. But like I said, she wanted to have a moment. She should have just went ahead and left it alone. But the thing about it, when it comes to Kenya Moore is a hothead. She does not listen to anyone. She beats by her own drums, and we're going to go ahead and talk about that. Um, I don't know what country girl. She said yes, ma'am. So I don't know if she's a Kenya Moore fan. But like I said, I stand on my truth. So this right here, I tell you guys all the time, when y'all come in here, we stand on truth. Like I said, I don't care who it is. It can be Squatty Dotty or anybody. We're gonna go ahead and call it out, and that's real talk. Jacqueline said, "Come right back to you." Yes, indeed. One thing about karma, guys, and how I feel when it comes to karma. I truly believe the wrath of God. And you reap what you sow. That tongue that's in your mouth can set an entire forest on fire. That tongue can sink a ship. And we already know when it comes to Kenya Moore is like a loose cannon, and that's real talk. But when it comes to these reality shows, no, I do not really like the reality shows, and I've been waiting for this day now. I might not even watch it no more, because if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard where Michelle Brown has said that they went ahead and cut some of the episodes. I think it's going to be 15 episodes. They usually goes up to 20 episodes, but I think that it's going to be at least 15. I don't know now that Kenya Moore is not there. I don't know. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and get into all that. Guys, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Please give me a thumbs up. And if I freeze, let me know that I'm freezing, because I don't want to go ahead and look crazy. Okay. But I saw someone post this right here. Let me go ahead and put this up right quick, because so I can be able to close some of the stuff. Let me see if I can see if it can show, because I don't know why. Let me see. Yeah, I saw someone had posted this right here. I think let me see. Uh someone had posted that. I saw that where it said justice for Kenya. No, baby, Kenya is her own demise. And I'm going to break it down because, like I said, all what you see is out there in the atmosphere. Kenya Moore is her own demise. It says right there, justice, hashtag justice for Kenya Moore. Okay. Yeah, right. I should have came in all my black and helped Phaedra Park to go ahead and do this eulogy because I've been waiting for this day. You look at Phaedra Parks. You remember Phaedra Parks? Phaedra Parks said there, she called it out. Even Nene Leakes called it out. Nene Leakes sat there and said when it came to Kenya Moore, she already foreseen it. Kenya Moore is going to be her own demise. So let me go ahead and read the copyright disclaimer, guys, because I might go ahead and play some clips. I don't know. It all depends. So I'm going to try to see if I'm going to be on here no more than an hour. So let me see if I can go ahead and read the copyright disclaimer. Is under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. So again, guys, make sure you go ahead and hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content. And also, if you feel led, you can go ahead and cash app Real Talk 985. You're not required, but it's appreciated. Okay. So you can cash app Real Talk 985. So let me see if, hold on one second. I got to fix my little studio. This is a little room that I fixed. I need to fix it so I can go ahead and get from behind that green screen, guys. Because I put my TV and everything in here. I'm trying to see if I can go ahead and get back to that show. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. So I'm just closing some of this stuff. So get out of all this right here. So give me a second, guys. Okay, guys, I am back. So, as you can see right here by the title, I'm not going to even go and give you guys a recap because I want to go ahead and get straight to the nitty gritty. Yes, indeed, straight to the nitty gritty. Like I said, when it comes to Kenya Moore is her own demise. I mean, she should have just went ahead and left well enough alone, but we already know when it comes to Kenya, she wants her moment. So, girl, like I said, who would have thought that your moment would have been out the door? But I think this right here is season 16, episode 5. So yeah, season 16, episode 5. So I'm not going to go ahead and do a review. I'm going to go ahead and get right into my commentary, okay? So also, country girls say, guys, come on and hit the like, share, comment, and make sure you go ahead and subscribe and share these videos, guys, for more unapologetic content. We just don't talk about no reality shows. Trust me, when I talk about it, honey, trust me, I rip it apart. Okay. So as you can see right here, we're going to go ahead and talk about the scandal that sealed Kenya Moore fate. Britt Eden photo incident, the twirl is gone. So guys, I want to go ahead. We already know that I'm gonna go ahead and give shout out to Michelle Brown, but let me see if I can go ahead and share this screen right here. She had talked about when it came to Phaedra. So I see where I was reading a lot of comments where people were talking about Kenya Moore was using as her defense. She was using the uh the weapon defense. That's what she was using, the weapon defense. But girl, no, you cannot use that. You cannot use that. Trust me. And the reason why she cannot use it, because like I said, her sins also had reached the highest heaven. So let me see if I can go ahead and pull it up, guys. And we're going to go ahead and talk about it. Now, I had no problems, I promise you. I had no problems at first. Now, all of a sudden, okay, Okay, I got it. I got it. So let's go ahead and pull this up right here. See if I can add this right here. So again, guys, welcome to Unapologetic Real Talk. Now I see it's in there. Now I'm trying to add it. For some reason, it's not letting me add it. When it comes to hold on one second, I probably can get it. When it comes to StreamYard had added so much new stuff in here. So I'm trying to see if I can pull this up. Right here says, let me see what the heck is going on. Devil, you is a lie and the truth is not even in you. So let me see if I can pull this up because I want to go ahead and show you this right here. That is not what I'm trying to pull up. Okay. I'm trying to get it, guys. Remove other media. So let me see. They say remove other media and see if I can go ahead and get all this in. Trust me, guys. I am going somewhere in here. Devil is a liar and the truth is not in him. What I'm going to do, I know what I'm going to do. Yeah, this is what I want to get to. Okay, guys. So I hope you guys, let me see if you could hear about this right quick. And like I said, I already went ahead and did my copyright disclaimer. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if you can hear this.
I need to pack some heat.
You got a piece of steel in there?
Because if things get out of hand,
What do you have here?
I might just have to bring out my firearm.
So let's go ahead and talk about that. Like I said, I think Michelle went ahead and she broke that story. So all the ones that's on this Kenya Moore trauma train wagon or whatever, they fans, overzealous fans. Like I said, it is what it is. Kenya Moore cannot go out there and use as a defense, that she heard when it came to Britain Eden that she wanted to go ahead and she mentioned a pow pow. Well, we already know that one season, Kenya Moore right here, when her and Phaedra had got into it, she went ahead and actually put it out and they showed it on the show. Right here, you see she's talking to her friend Brandon. What did Brandon do? Brandon sit there, pretty much he was running away from it. Kenya Moore pulled it out. And she went ahead and she mentioned thank you, country girl. She went ahead and she mentioned Phaedra's name. But you see, like I said, everybody won't say hashtag, justice for Kenya Moore. But like I said, when it comes to Kenya Moore is her own demise because everything was beautiful. The women looked beautiful. And the thing about it, when it came to Britain, she pretty much, apologized so much, where she could have kissed her tail if Kenya Moore would have asked her to kiss her tail because, she was waving a red flag. But the thing about it, when it came to Kenya Moore, she wanted her moment. She wanted her moment and she got it. Hey, Gail Francis, she wanted her moment because she could have just went ahead and said, oh my God, this is much bigger than this little fight that I had with Brittany. I've been wanted my salon to come up. I wanted to focus on me, so I'm not going to worry about nothing else because this is my moment. And what did Kenya Moore say? Kenya Moore said, this right here is a dream come true, and when it comes to a child can look at, the accomplishments that she did. But like I said, when it comes to Kenya Moore is her own demise. So also all this right here, guys, we are doing some research. Everything is for fair use. So let's go ahead and continue and listen to some more, which shout out to Michelle Brown straight from the 8 because she was the one that broke this story right here. But I got another one that I want to go ahead and show you guys as well because see, when it comes to certain people that we like I said, we pick and we choose, we like Kenya Moore. So we're not going to go ahead and make 101 videos digging up dirt when it comes to Kenya Moore. Okay. So this right here of Kenya Moore went ahead and she pulled out the pow pow. Okay.
Oh, that's my cue.
You see? And he said, that's my cue.
Didn't know you had that kind of in the closet.
Now, if a donkey is feeling froggy and they want to leap,
They can leave all the way to the emergency room. Because they just got shot in the ass.
Wow. Wow. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? She even talked about what she was going to do. And then the thing about it, they went ahead and aired that episode on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So they have given Kenya Moore so much grace, so many chances. Kenya Moore should have been off that show long, long time ago. But like I said, it may not come when you want it, but hey, it's going to come. Karma going to come and knock you on your feet, on your flat face. The truth gonna slowly but surely find its way back home. And one thing about karma does not forget an address. And Kenya Moore had done some stuff. Kenya Moore is the type of person that she hits below the belt. She hits below the belt and the things that she said. But nobody talked about all that. Let's go ahead and play it again. Because see, we have amnesia, we turn the cheek, the other cheek. Let's listen to it some more.
Because they just got shot in the ass.
Who would win, a taser gun or a real gun?
So she's sitting there, she's mocking Phaedra because Phaedra is sitting there and she came with a taser, but she coming with a real one. But yet all of a sudden, wow, we crying, because of what Brittany Eden went ahead and said, in the car or wherever. She said she overheard her on a hot mic that she was talking about a pow. But also you did it not once, but you did it twice. Yes, twice. So when it came to this scene right here, this floating around, okay? So let's listen to another scene. So nobody talking about this one right here, okay? And like I said, let's make sure we got our banner going across the screen. And guys, make sure you go ahead and hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content, because they try to go ahead and put me in the boondocks, but that's okay. That's okay. My girl Temple of Blue say long time ago. But like I said, but that's okay. You know how they put me way back there in the boondock, but that's all right. Like I say, when it comes to this channel has a very huge impact. And thank God that I love exactly what I'm doing. Okay. So also Temper says, welcome to the channel and chat, country girl. Also, she said, I stopped liking Kenya Moore when she made the attempt to pull the chair. Absolutely. Absolutely. That part right there, I would never forget, because when it comes to Kim Fields, she used to play on Different Stroke. Kim Fields is a very humble person and she don't bother anyone. And what did Kenya Moore did? Took the girl chair and pulled it from under her enough for this child to fall on the floor. And what did Kim Fields say? Kenya Moore is a piece of work. A piece of work. So like I said, all this stuff that happening to Kenya, all this was, she's reaping what she sowed. So y'all can go out there and make 101 videos talking about Brittany Eden went ahead and threatened to put a pow on Kenya Moore. But look, what did Kenya Moore actually said? That she was going to put the pow on Phaedra and send her to the emergency room. And that's real talk, unapologetic and non-biased. Okay. Like I said, in here, we are grown folks. We stand on our truth. We don't have a dog in this fight, but we're going to call it like it is. If it's out there, trust me, you did it. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this one right here, because I ain't saw no one went ahead and pulled this one up right here, but I'm pulling it up. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this one right here. I think it's going to play. Let me see. So let's go ahead and pause it right here. This right here is another incident that happened. Kenya Moore, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they went ahead and they put that scene also on Real Housewives of Atlanta, where intruders, Kenya Moore had said when she had moved in her house, where they went ahead and I think they came on her property, and she went ahead and she pulled the pow pow on them, which they own her property. So I'm gonna give her a pass for that, because we already know back then people used to go ahead and stalk her, especially when it came to her building that house, because they thought that she was going to never build that house, just like what it is, Sheree Whitfield. But this scene right here, you guys can go ahead and pull it up, where she went ahead and she also pulled out another pop out, and that's end on the show. So what I'm trying to get you guys to see is that I don't think when it comes to Kenya Moore that you guys can go ahead and use it the defense as what Brittany Eden went ahead and did when Kenya Moore had got away not once but twice talking about a pow pow on that show. So I just wanted you guys to go ahead and see it, so you guys can go ahead and pull that up. But I just wanted you all to see exactly what I am talking about. But like I said, when it comes to Kenya Moore, she is her own demise, because I truly believe, when they went ahead and showed the episode of her hair salon, it was very beautiful. And the sad part about it is that everybody was telling her, don't go there, you going a little too far. And she pushed it, because like I said, she does not hear anyone. And that's the part that she have to work with. And the thing about it is that when Britt and Eden went ahead and purchased some flowers, she said, go and give it to the homeless. So that's just to show you, hey, you think that you above, that you better than anyone, go give it to the homeless. And not to mention, she was a step away from being homeless herself. And I'm going to say allegedly. Like, let me make sure that I say allegedly, because we got a lot of people. Like I say, all this to me is for entertainment purpose only. Okay, so let me make sure that I put all is allegedly. But like I said, I remember when Nene did a scene when Kenya Moore was trying to get back on the show, because like I said, I've been following this from day one, the very first beginning. It was Nene. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to get everything together. Hold on one second. Let me see. I don't know where I'm at. So let me see. I'm trying to fix it. Let me close some of this stuff out. Maybe if I close some of this stuff out, I might could be able to do something. Hold on one second, guys, because I have a lot of tabs open. Hold on, let me close some of these tabs. So yeah, let me go ahead and get back to what I was saying. It was Nene was the one that helped, according to what I had seen on the show, to get Kenya Moore on that show. Kenya Moore came on what I call a prayer and wings. Nene even went and helped her, to furnish her apartment. I remember when Nene said, "Dag, man, you way in the hood," where I thought I had to get my helicopter, which it was just plain to, to get to your apartment, and talked about the white refrigerator. But Kenya Moore really didn't have much. I remember when she was shopping on the rack, clothes rack, which is nothing to me, us, the normal people, ain't nothing wrong with, shopping on the clothes rack. But Nene was sitting there saying, we don't shop on no clothes rack, and soon the minute, she got her foot in the door, it's like she wanted to put her foot on Nene's neck. She wanted to go ahead and turn on her because she wanted to make it her moment, and that's how I saw it, and Nene called her out. And when Nene was going through, she was saying Nene does not deserve, Nene is ungrateful, and was saying all types of stuff. But she had to go and think that she was going to get a spiritual wash in Africa. Her and her daughter went to Africa because she knew she had slipped. She knew she had messed up. Because, like I said, if I'm not mistaken, Kenya Moore is like in her 50s. Nobody really looking for anyone in their 50s. And if I'm heard it right, and I'm gonna say allegedly, they said that, she was making at least, of all the episodes, close to maybe 1.8 million dollars, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. And just to say, she messed it up all in one day, messed it up all in one day, but like I said, you never win playing dirty. In the Nene Leakes voice, you never win playing dirty. And that's exactly what she did. She wanted to go ahead and have a moment because everybody was telling her, Kenya Moore, go ahead and, let it go, let it go. Oh, no, I know I'm not going to let it go. Even I remember her aunt Laurel. Aunt Laurel used to sit there and say when it came about her mom, you know, let it go, Kenya Moore. Kenya's the type of person that's where she have to work at. She have to work on, learning to let go. Some things, you just can't fix. Some things you just gonna have to just dust your feet and move on. And she's the type of person that she's harbor on stuff until she feel like she got you to hurt the way that she feel like she's hurting. That's how I see it. I'm not a therapist or anything, but that's exactly how I see it. I see Temper LeBlue says, okay, I read that one. I read it. But that's exactly how I see it. But if I was Britain Eden, I would have brought Marla Hampton. That's who I would have brought on that show, Marla Hampton, because Marla, she knows exactly where all the bodies at. Kenya Moore, like I said, she was pulling up Britain Eden dirt, talking about her past. They all had a past. We all have a past. I remember when Marlo Hampton had came out and showed receipts when it came to Kenya Moore. When Kenya Moore was with this white guy, they were sitting there saying, according to Marla Hampton, I'm gonna say allegedly. All of this right is a legend that she was a high price, call girl, whatever, according to Marla. Marla even had the pictures. She showed the pictures on her phone. Go to Michelle Brown, where she write those articles straight from the A. You're gonna pull that article where she was hugging with this white guy. I remember Nene Leakes sat there and say she saw her with African guys, So by she's bringing up someone's past and then they are married, to me, that was below the belt. And anyone that condone anything like that, that should show you where you are. Because nowhere in the world at her event, something that she been dreaming on. And I'm pretty sure that even Lawrence and who that was, Lawrence and Derek, they probably would have had a chair. Lawrence probably right now upset with Kenya Moore because that was my time to get back on the show. I could have been, but helping running, your business, the hair salon. But no, now she'd have messed that up for Lawrence and Derek. They was at the her grand opening. But she went ahead and what she did, she messed that up because she's a loose cannon. I've been calling Kenya Moore out from day one, from the very beginning when this show had came on. I knew she was going to wreck herself because, like I said, she was all about self, and that's something that she's going to have to work on. Temper says, spend 400,000 of her child's. Oh my God! And I'm gonna say allegedly, but this is what Temper said: spend 400,000 of her child's college money on her hair salon. Wow! And she went ahead and she messed it up. If it is true, all this is a legend. But if it is true, why would she dig into her child's college fund and make a big old mess the way that she did? It could have worked out because, like I said, it was very beautiful. She got everybody attention. And then everybody want to, now what they want to do, they want to go ahead and they want to get upset with Cynthia Bailey. Cynthia Bailey was not going to say, and Cynthia Bailey was not going to condone what Kenya Moore did because it was not right. Kenya Moore is the type of person, just like I said, she hits below the belt. Country Girl says she didn't think nothing was going to happen to her because of all the devious things she had done in the past. Absolutely. She got away with a lot. And even Andy Cohen was sick of her. Kenya Moore had got away with a lot, but they knew sooner or later Kenya Moore was going to wreck herself. And that's exactly what she did. She went ahead and she wrecked herself because this right here should have been a beautiful occasion. But what she wanted to make it about Brittany, she wanted to haze her at her event. You could have hazed her somewhere else, but at your event. And now they want to say justice for Kenya. Justice for Kenya. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. Like I said, I should have been in here coming on with all my black on. I should have gave a eulogy because I've been was waiting for this to happen because I knew this girl was a train wreck. She was nothing but a train wreck. And like I said, only her diehard fans see all the wrong that she done. I mean, don't see all the wrong that she's done. And then she had the audacity to blow. You remember when she had blew like she's blowing the dust. Girl, right there, all you was doing is blowing and twirling your way out of that dog on reality show. And that's exactly what she did. And even if she went down there to the motherland, even to the motherland, to Mother Africa couldn't even help her because your sins had reached the highest heaven. You had done so much, so much. And even if our ancestors would have went ahead and washed you in the sea of forgiveness, you would have sat there and came back up just as worse as you went down there. And that's real talk. Temper says that Kenya actually said the dollar amount on the show when she was talking to Kelly while they were in the hair salon. Okay, so the $400,000 that she went ahead and put the child's college fund into it, she should have went ahead, Kenya Moore, and kept that to herself. Now she done went ahead and wasted this girl money, $400,000. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. 6 figures she put on that business just to sit there and tear it down. Build it up, got the lights on her just to tear it down. And now she wants to go around and gather up this trauma bonding train wagon. Hashtag justice for Kenya Moore. Hashtag justice for Kenya Moore. I don't even know how you guys can justify this. I don't know exactly how you all can justify this because if you want to use the defense of what Britain Eden said, then you might as well go ahead and use a defense of when Kenya Moore wanted to, what she said to do to Phaedra and send her to the emergency room. That's her words, not mine. Like I said, you have to be careful. You have to be careful what you put out there in the atmosphere because what goes around come around. What goes around come around. So like I said, she was her own demise, and that's real talk. Country Girl Queen says, and I don't forget about her hair products she was selling too. Absolutely. She could have made a killing because I talk about it all the time when it comes to the hair business. I've been a licensed cosmetologist, since I was 12 years old, got licensed when I was 16 years old. That's good money. And today, when it comes to hair supplies, that's like $1 trillion industry, $1 trillion business a year, trillions of dollars. And she blew it all away in one day. Blew it all away. And she don't have nobody to blame but herself. And the reason why she has no one to blame because everybody warned her. Everybody warned her. Kenya Moore, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh no, I'm gonna do it. Nobody tell me I'm gonna do it. I'm tired of people messing with me. Girl, you don't even know Brittany enough. to even say something like that. You could have paid her dust and let her watch you prosper. But like I said, she's her own demise. Now what happens? She's off. No way in the world. Because like I said, when it comes to Andy, and if she do come back, she's not going to get the money that she's getting, because I'm pretty sure that she was getting top dollars because she was the last one there, besides Portia. I don't know what Portia is making. And Portia deal most likely was connected to all the stuff that was going on with her and her ex-husband Simon. And you already know, she can't say too much about that. She can't even film. But Kenya Moore most likely was now the highest paying cast on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So do you think that Bravo production or whoever, True Entertainment, I don't know who cutting those checks, but do you think that they want Kenya Moore on? No, they was trying to most likely find something on her, but knowing that's just wait it out. Sooner or later, she's going to hang herself. And some girl was in the back. I don't know if she was a producer or something. I wanted to show that little clip. She even got upset. Sound like she said, that's too far. She was the one that was behind Portia now. So I don't know if she was one of the producers, because they showed a glimpse of her. She was very upset. They know she had messed up. Now, I don't know, and I might go say a legend, but how I see in the spirit, this is how I see in the spirit. I think that one of the producers went ahead and gave her all that information. But still of all, even if one of the producers went ahead and gave her all the information when it comes to Brittany, like I said, they can put it in your lap, but that does not mean that you run with it. Kenya Moore could have said, no, that's a little too far. I'm not going to, bring that out. So I think that's what she's trying to use as an excuse. And I'm going to say allegedly. That's how I see it in the spirit. Try to say, look, I got it from Bravo. Well, that's just how Phaedra Parks could have said, all the information when it came to Candy and the dungeon and Portia, that she got it from production, because we already know production also feed them a lot of information. But it's up to you if you're going to run with it. And what Kenya did was they gave her a bone, and I'm going to say allegedly, and by she's so reckless, she's so smart where she's no earthly good, she went ahead and she ran with it. And she lost it all in one day, one night. Lost it all in one night. And like I said, people is not checking for nobody in their 50s. They looking for young bucks now, honey, especially when it comes to those type of settings and give you that type of money. Shoot, if it is true that she was getting $1.8 million, shoot, they can get about 6 other different casts to come on, new, young, fresh casts, and pay them not even close to what they was paying Kenya Moore. That's real talk. She must have forgotten about all the things she must have forgotten about all the things she done to other people. Also, Temper says this is what happened when you act on emotions. Absolutely, but Kenya Moore always did act on emotions. I really think that, when she came on that show, she came on all 4 cylinders. She should have came at least, dealing with those demons within. That's how she should have came on. But no, she wanted to make her moment, oh, she's the queen, her stuff don't stink. Instead of dealing with her childhood traumas. That's how she should have came on. And maybe people would have related to her more. But she waited all the way at the end and she tried to talk about that, but people was not buying it because she was the villain. The very first time, she got on that show, she was the villain. So it was kind of hard for people to, to relate to her now. And what she was trying to do is she was trying to haze Brittany. That's why she didn't want to let it go. But that was at the wrong time. That was your moment. That was your daughter's moment. And what she did, she went ahead and she blew it. Like I say, when it comes to karma, honey, if you believe in karma, but I believe the wrath of God, but if you believe in karma, karma does not forget an address. And that right there was every opportunity to even get, like I said, Derek and also Lawrence back on that show because they had something that they can relate to. And what that is, that's hair, But what she did, she went ahead and she messed it up. She went ahead and she messed it up. Temper says production should have been said to Kenya Moore, we will not participate in the mess. The streets are saying Moore was set up by the production after she spoke horrible about production. See, like I said there and said, I didn't even know that. I just felt it in the spirit, Let me go ahead and read it again. Production should have been said to Kenya Moore, we will not participate in the mess. The streets are saying Moore was set up by the production after she spoke horrible about production. And she can't use that as an excuse because, like I said, at the end of the day, it was up to her. Just like the rest of the cast say that was a little too far, but she likes to go ahead and live on the edge. And what she did, she found a hole that was just waiting just for her. And that's real talk. Hey, I see Christella is in the house. She said, hey, Sister Lady D, how are you doing, Christella? Yes, indeed, guys. Welcome. Country Girl says she was spiraling out of control. She went way below the belt. Always did. Kenya Moore always went below the belt. I'm surprised that her and Portia was willing to film with each other because look what had happened with her and Portia. How Portia had to drag her across the stage because her mouth was reckless. Her mouth was reckless. So I'm here to tell all the ones that's saying hashtag justice for Kenya Moore because what Brittany has said about the pow pow, I already had showed you some clips, not one clip, but two different scenes that she had got away with. And one when she actually threatened, pulled out, showed the pow pow and said what she was going to do to Phaedra and then put Phaedra into the emergency room. But nobody said not one thing. That's why I said there and say, what you put out there in the atmosphere gonna always come back and bite you in your butt. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, Kenya has she do have an evil spirit. I've been calling that out from day one. I had over 500 some videos of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I was doing good. People sitting there saying, oh, nobody watch your channel. Honey, trust me, I was doing good. Really good. I even had the one and only Nene Leaks used to retweet my videos. So half of the subscribers that I had gotten it off of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I was doing good, but I had got sick and tired. I wasn't getting fed. I wasn't getting any edification when it came to these reality shows, especially when Kenya Moore came on. Because I really think when it came to Kenya Moore took this show to an all-time low, to a very dark place because her mouth was reckless. Her mouth was reckless. And I don't think no way that you guys can fix this. Her days, not number, her days are up. Kenya Moore days is up, okay? And yes, she do. She thought, oh, I need to go to Africa, to the motherland, and get a spiritual cleansing. No, baby. You might be forgiven, but you still have to reap what you sow. And that's what she's getting. She's reaping what she sowed. And if her soul is anchored in the Lord, God is going to see her through. You might not be back on television anymore, but you might find some peace somewhere else. So I'm not going to sit there and say it's over for her, but I'm pretty sure when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta, I hate to say it, Kenya Moore, but it's over for her. But God might have another door open. But in order for you can get that door open for her, or she get the door open again, she gonna have to leave that old baggage behind. She can't take that old junk, all that old trauma, childhood traumas. Maybe she might can go on a Ayana Fix My Life show and start talking about her childhood traumas. But I think when it comes to reality shows should be the last place these type of people should be on. They should be on somebody's couch, not on a television show, because it's not going to help, because you got millions of people sitting there all in your business, having you to put on this facade. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And that's real talk, guys. And like I said, when it came to Brittany apologized. Brittany kept apologizing. She even talked about raising a white flag, but it wasn't good enough for Kenya Moore. It wasn't good enough for Kenya Moore because Kenya Moore had a evil spirit. She has a hard heart because, like I said, some childhood traumas that she couldn't shake off, and it finally caught up with her. And that's how I see it, because it could have been a beautiful occasion. All that could have been a beautiful occasion. So, like I said, when it comes to Kenya Moore, I think right now, I think that is the end when it comes to Kenya Moore. I think that's the end. That's it. What girl said there and say, bye, Felicia. That's it. You have done a little too much, and that's real talk. So, guys, look, thank you for coming in. Welcome to Unapologetic Real Talk. And like I said, I just can talk about this one thing. And when it comes to reality shows, I think that it's it. I am done with it. If I see something that's going to go ahead and stick out, maybe I might go ahead and talk about it. But I have accomplished, everything that was, put on my lap to sit there and talk about. I knew that Kenya Moore, she was going to be her own downfall. When I talked about the other shows, I knew, I called it. And all, I'm just, seeing right now. I'm just seeing the manifestation. But the sad thing about it, she didn't only mess herself up. She also messed her child. If she put in $400,000 into that business and she tore it all down, $400,000 to some, that's a lot. And I remember when Kenya Moore had came on that show, Kenya Moore pretty much didn't have nothing, according to what Nene Leakes had put out and what we saw. And when Real Housewives of Atlanta had opened the door, gave her a chance, this girl kept hitting below the belt, because she wanted that moment. She wanted to be known. She wanted that, her name to stay out there. But sometimes, when God sit there and say, pump your brakes, honey, you got to pump your brakes. And that's real talk. That's real talk. So, guys, like I said, it is what it is. So, that's pretty much about it. I'm not going to go ahead and do a review on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I want to go ahead and get straight to all this right here, and make sure you leave your comments. Like I said, I'm not going to bite your head, but I'm going to stand on my truth. Don't call me out because, like I said, I don't have a dog in this fight. Oh, don't say, oh, you hate Kenya Moore. I don't know Kenya Moore. I don't know Kenya Moore from a can of paint. I only can talk about this reality show of what she went ahead and she put out on this show. And Kenya Moore got away with a lot. So miss me again. Miss me talking about what Brittany, what's her name, Brittany Eden had said about the pow pow. Miss me with that because I showed you clips. I showed you clips of when Kenya Moore also had threatened to pull it out on Phaedra Parks. And like I said, even Portia has said that was wrong. Cynthia Bailey, you guys mad with Cynthia Bailey? They sit there and say, Kenya Moore don't even want to talk to Cynthia Bailey anymore. What did you want Cynthia Bailey to do? You wanted her to sink with you. You wanted her to help cover up this mess. You did it. You was a train wreck, and you did it. So it is what it is. So, guys, look, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out, but that's exactly what I want to go ahead and talk about, and I talk about variety of things. I do not like to stay on one topic. I don't like to stay on one topic, but I also like to go ahead and talk about my spirituality, and I also like to talk about when it comes to historian. I love talking about Black history. My girl, country girl, says, "I hate no one. It's the behavior I dislike." Absolutely, absolutely, and it's very horrible, when you have a very ugly, dark soul and a gutter mouth. To say how beautiful, she is. Like I said, you can be beautiful on the outside, but you can be just so ugly on the inside. And she showed it. Everybody that came on that show, she felt that she had to haze them. They had to cross her first, and she hits below the belt. But like I said, one thing about karma, it never forget. And all the stuff that she did, it came and bit her on her most important day. Her most important day. And that's real talk, guys. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I know, like I said, you guys should have known that this day was going to come, that she was going to end up wrecking herself, you know. So, guys, thank you for coming in. Christella Hart, thank you for coming in. My girl, country girl, yes, one of the best mods on this side. Yes, thank you for coming in and helping the sister out. Yes, indeed. Temper, thank you for coming in. And guys, make sure you go ahead and hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content. Tomorrow, I might go ahead. I want to talk about this young guy, what's his name? Carmelo Anthony. I mean, young guys, two young guys. I wanted to talk about that. But I really want to talk about Texas law, to stand your ground. I want to know if it's going to protect them because so much stuff now is being, told, of how, like I said, the child, pretty much he can go sit wherever he wanted to sit. And it was said that his coach was the one that told him that, he could have went and sit on that tent because it was raining. So I'm just gathering some information and so I can go ahead and talk about all that right there. But it's so much stuff, guys, out there that we can go ahead and talk about. Like I said, when it comes to these reality shows, to me, I find that all these reality shows is nothing but a distraction. So if it's all a distraction, do you think that something good is going to come out of all that? No. And the thing about it is that our people, we love drama. We love sitting on the soapbox and talking about stuff like this when it got so much real life issues, so much stuff that is going on out there. And I already told you, when it comes to these reality shows, it really does not last. Even, like I say, all the stuff right here, it was bound to happen. But the sad thing about it, when it comes to Kenya Moore, it happened on the day that she could have been something so beautiful for her and her daughter. Isn't isn't it like a coincidence? But it's not a coincidence. The day that that something that she been dreaming of. I mean, it was so beautiful. The scenes, the everything was just set so perfectly. And that's exactly what the devil do. He would set something up so perfectly. Even it talked about how the day will be so beautiful and suddenly all hell will break out. All that right there, what you saw is prophecies. Even though it's a reality show, but it's still, like I said, these people personal life, some of these people real life. Something that has supposed to have been so beautiful, and suddenly it was all gone that same night. That hurts. That's why I said there and say we need some spiritual healing. reality shows should be the last place. So, guys, I did my little hour. I was trying to go ahead and stay at least a little hour ahead, 2 minutes. But just like my girl, Country Girl says, another great live, unapologetic real talk. Everyone enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay prayed up, and God bless you all. So, guys, on that note, like I said, then say, only what you do for the Most High God is going to last. And treat people the way that you want to be treated. And sometimes you just got to let it go. You just can't retaliate on everything. Just take it to God in prayer. And that's real talk. So, guys, you all be blessed.
Do it all and I won't run.